Step behind Rotterdam's new central station and suddenly you wander into an earlier era. Strolling through the narrow streets, you can really catch a glimpse of old Rotterdam. In one of the buildings, once used for dairy production, the busy daily routine stops for a while. Right in the corner, you come across Hans's second-hand shop and Aladdin's Cave for music and book collectors. It's one of those shops, not widely known, but much beloved by those within its doors. Records are stacked to the ceiling, books also, piled up on top of each other, forming towers. Looking for something specific can take an age. It's better to ask the owner. Odd as it might seem, for Hans, everything falls into place. Every record has its own sound, every book has its own voice. It's an old-fashioned shop, a rare victory for substance over style. Just a lot of music, composed by the artists, to reach out and touch the listener. You breathe in the familiar scent deeply and think about your own past. How many years ago did you buy your first album? And is there a copy of it, buried somewhere in this place, just a few steps away?
In Rotterdam, so it's a nice combination to explain something about your own story and about the architecture. Nowadays it's the biggest harbour of Europe, and well, a part of it we see here. So we end at the main boulevard, the Koolsingel of Rotterdam. There are some small harbours which are more or less museum harbours nowadays, but you see also some big harbours on the other side which are already empty now and are all being redeveloped to all kind of housing projects and office projects like you see over there. Nevertheless, all the people who came to Rotterdam, or if you come from another city in Holland, you came around 1800, 1850, you came by boat to Rotterdam. And therefore they placed all these beautiful buildings here. In a moment we make the corner to the Veerhaven, which is even better, but it's actually a sort of facade architecture they did. There are still some locations left where big towers can be made, 2 locations more or less, and those towers will be made if the time is a little bit better.
I want to know something about the meatballs. Well, the meatballs are very special, and it is a receipt we already made for 20 years about. We don't tell how the receipt is, and we make them by our own every day, and we sell a lot of them. And from all the Netherlands they visit to eat the meatballs. Even you did eat the meatballs today.
I already told you about this big public park everybody go, but because of these dikes that are located over here, this little park is a little bit hidden. Therefore, in the Tell Me a Story website, it's the second story, and it's called The Secret Garden. It's really secret. I didn't know this park for many years. I know it now for 2 years or so. It's a very small and old location, as I already told you, from 1706, I believe. But the design of the park itself is more recent, 1860, so still quite old. And there are some really old trees in it. So here we have a next story. It's called Vicky Stay. It's actually a little statue given by the students of Rotterdam more than 60 years ago, more or less. It used to be on another location. The idea was, why do the students give this little dog to the city of Rotterdam? Young and energetic, and they thought this was a very nice reference for the students in Rotterdam. The dirt in front is not a part of the original statue, but it has been placed there later. It was a gift of the, how do you say it? The garbage man of Rotterdam. It was in a period of cleaning the city and make people more notice about how dirty it is. Yeah, and therefore they placed this next to it. So what I want to show you is the orange thing on your back, which is the Delftse Poort. It's the old gate of the old city. It had more or less 3 gates, and it was the north one. I already talked about this triangular shape. Well, this was the north corner, more or less. Old part was also destroyed, and therefore nothing was left. And they could not rebuild it, and they didn't want to rebuild it at that time, because then they made a complete new master plan. They had a tabula rasa and wide screen, and they could design a complete new city. And the port, the gate was not part of it. They also start thinking about redesigning the location over here and make more space for all the cars. And therefore, the old gate had to be moved. It's nice because it's a completely transparent. It's a skeleton of steel, more or less. And what you see inside are elements that have been preserved of the old gate.
Okay, there are 2 reasons why people come to Toro. I said yesterday one reason is wine and gastronomy and, you know, the setting. And the other reason is this portada. There exist only 2 in Spain. One is here and the other one in Santiago de Compostela in the cathedral. The difference is here it's painted polychromado, whereas the one in Santiago isn't. It's 12th, 13th century. And in this video, unfortunately only in Spanish, they explain, well, the meaning. So, why we are here? One story is in English, the real Saint Valentine. So the relic of Saint Valentine is here. San Valentin, you know, it's famous now. It's the 14th of February. Okay, so this is the relic of Saint Valentine, right? The real Saint Valentine, the shop windows are decorated with red hearts. The florists offer their best bouquets together with small cards on which a naughty Cupid shoots his arrows of love. It's St. Valentine's Day. Haben Sie die Geschichte verstanden?
Ja.
Okay, ja. Haben Sie irgendwelche Fragen zu der Geschichte? Colegiata heißt auf Deutsch Stiftskirche. Und es ist die Stiftskirche der Maria Stiftskirche. Ja? Colegiata la Santa Maria heißt.
Bueno, buenos días. Estamos en la antigua Plaza de Toros de Toro. Esta plaza se construyó en 1828 y se construyó para obtener fondos para el Hospital General. Aquí en Toro se construyeron 3 edificios: la Plaza de Toros, el Teatro Carlos Latorre, que es este edificio, y hubo un tercer edificio que ha desaparecido, que sería el antiguo Salón de Bailes.
There was a question from your side. Is it still used? Yes. This will be the place for this a wine exhibition, a wine fair, and it takes place here.
Este sitio es muy interesante. Tu amias to mnogo interesno.
Das ist sehr interessant. È molto interessante.
Bienvenidos en Toro. Welkom in Toro.
Toro's name has survived to this day, and Toro's inhabitants are proud to see their town bearing a name with a Spanish flavor. Symbol of nobility, strength and energy. A sacred animal which is nowadays identified with the entire country. Marqués de Olivara.
Ja, genau. Ist der da in die Richtung raus, oder was?
Nein, die ist die nächste, also die kann man eigentlich, dort ist der Eingang.
Ja.
Un vino con historia. Es el momento del brindis. Las copas se llenan entre risas y alegría. La fiesta ha comenzado. Un vino con un cuerpo aromático y con carácter acompaña unos platos deliciosos cocinados con amor. No es un vino cualquiera, es un vino con historia, testigo de uno de los acontecimientos más importantes protagonizados por el hombre, el descubrimiento del Nuevo Mundo. Ya en la Edad Media, el arcipreste de Hita lo alababa en el libro de Buen Amor. Y los médicos judíos lo utilizaban como medicina, pero va a ser Cristóbal Colón quien lo lleve en la nave La Pinta en su aventura ultramarina, por su alta graduación alcohólica y por su gran capacidad de aguante en las largas travesías.